Eric Reeser. Bruce Thornton and the basketball Buckeyes are on to the quarterfinals of the Big Ten tournament. Ohio State beat Iowa 72-69 yesterday in their third-round matchup at the United Center. OSU senior captain led with 24 points and was one of 4 Buckeyes in double figures. Ohio State's going to battle Michigan today at noon, the third meeting between the two teams this year. Wolverines are 2-0 in it. Here today's quarterfinal matchup on the Fan with coverage at 11. Ohio State great Scoonie Penn will join Bo Bishop live from Chicago in about 30 minutes. In Cleveland yesterday, the unbeaten streak for Miami of Ohio came to an end. Redhawks fell to UMass 87-83 in the MAC quarterfinals. On the ice last night in Florida, the Panthers beat the Blue Jackets 2-1 in overtime. Adam Fantilli drew a questionable tripping penalty that resulted in a power play game-winning goal for Florida. CBJ keep their point streak alive at 8 games. Columbus will wrap a 3-game road trip Saturday in Philadelphia at 7:30. You can hear Blue Jackets Flyers tomorrow night at 7 right here on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Barry here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
it's a rundown.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Friday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 2. An abbreviated edition of the program. Reese is here. Isaiah is here. Scoonie Penn going to join at 9:30 from Chicago. Buckeyes and Wolverines tip at noon. We will take you right up to the coverage at 11. The Great Beam will lead that off. Tim May is going to join us at 10:30. What we learned coming up at 10 o'clock. You're going to get sick and tired over the next 72 hours of hearing about best versus most deserving. You're going to get sick of it. It's a football conversation, typically, right? Yeah, that's the one that we have this conversation every single fall. We have it for multiple months, usually leading up to the selection of the college football playoff and who gets in, and best versus most deserving is constantly something we discuss. And the reality is that most of us, I think, want best so long as best can be explained away. So what I mean by that is best 10-2 in football? Yeah. Best 8-4? No. Too much. And that's kind of where a team like Auburn is, too much. And there's some other ones that are on the bubble that are too much. The reality is that Miami, Ohio is going to make the NCAA tournament. They're going to make it. You don't go 31-0 and miss, and I don't think the selection committee has the stones to leave that team out, nor should they leave that team out. That team is 31-0. That team prior to yesterday was undefeated. First team to do so since St. Joe's to get to this point in the tournament undefeated. So all of those things certainly contribute to it. They're not one of the best anymore. They've been flirting for this for a while. They've been flirting with losing for a while. They have survived and advanced for about 3 weeks. They are battered. They are beat up. They are not healthy. They are not the team they were at the end of January. They're just not. They've had too many injuries, and it started to stack on them a little bit. They're going to get in. So relax. They're going to get in. And I think that they will do the right thing. And so a lot of conversation will be had over the next few days about, are they one of the 68 best? Well, I don't think anybody objectively could say that they are based on the way that they're playing right now, and a large part of that has to do with their health. But the reality is they will get in, and so you can sleep well at night. On the Ohio State side of things, what is at stake today, thanks to the win yesterday against Iowa, is placement. It's placement, and it's critical. If Ohio State can beat Michigan today at noon, and they went toe-to-toe with them in Ann Arbor, we all remember it. If they can beat Michigan today at noon, I do believe that there's a possibility that Ohio State could get themselves on the 7 line in the NCAA tournament. That is a massive distinction and change of expectations. Right now, it appears that Ohio State is locked in on the 8 line. That is because the way they've played for the last week, the win against Iowa, of course, yesterday, and the position that they've put themselves in. So they are locked on the 8 line. The 8 line nets you a 1 seed in the second round. It also nets you a 9 seed. For example, if you pay attention to Lenardi's bracketology, it nets you a 9 seed opponent like TCU. I watched TCU play last night against Kansas. It's a full day. TCU would be a full day as a 9 seed. I don't think that that's anything that you want. Right now, Ohio State is projected to play Clemson in Tampa in the first round, and should they win that, they would get Florida. That is a very difficult draw. Look, you're an 8 seed. You don't deserve to have a whole lot of things go your way. You're just happy you're in, and you hope that you can have some success. But I'm getting a little greedy here, guys. And if you beat Michigan today, now you get on that 7 line. I do think it's in play. So let's just swap out Ohio State for 7-seeded Miami right now. Miami is a 7 on the 7 line. I'm talking about Miami of Florida as a 7 seed right now. If Ohio State beats Michigan and they find themselves on the 7 line, now all of a sudden you're talking about playing a team like UCF or Santa Clara, and the 2 seed, provided they get by the 15, is a team like Iowa State or UConn. Other 2 seeds currently are Houston. That'd be a tough matchup. Or Michigan State. That's much more possible when you think about the idea of getting to a Sweet 16. Are we getting greedy now? Yeah, probably, but that's what happens this time of year. So that's what today is about. It's about continuing to advance in the Big Ten tournament, of course, try to do what seems so improbable and actually win the Big Ten. But one win over Michigan today, I do believe, would put you on that 7 line, and that is an absolute game changer for Jake Diebler's program.
It's what winning 4 in a row does.
Yeah.
Right? It's the momentum that's been carried since that win over Purdue. Like, it feels like it was emotional. I'd say ego and emotion, maybe health, are the factors for Ohio State after getting shellacked by Iowa. Kind of feeling a little bit embarrassed about themselves, and then getting healthy at the right time, and then ripping off 4 straight, including yesterday where, boy, 16 points didn't even feel safe in the moment.
No.
And you survived in advance yesterday against the Hawkeyes in Chicago. But to beat a team like Michigan, what it also could do is it could get you a little closer to home. So that 8th spot where Joe Lunardi has them now is in Tampa. If they stay in that bracket, it's not terribly close, Oklahoma City, but you could also put yourself in Buffalo as a 7. You could do Philly or St. Louis.
Yeah.
Like, those are situations, and I don't know, probably Tampa might be the best spot considering the Florida contingent of Ohio State fans,
Yeah.
and Florida doesn't suck this time of the year.
Yeah, a little spring break.
But I just think that you've been able to control so much over the last 4 games, your own destiny, and a win today would do so much more for that, for the things we talked about with this program yesterday. You're able to take down Michigan, and why not on Friday the 13th?
That's right.
Right? Michigan's 2-0 against the Buckeyes this season. Don't they always say it's hard to beat the same team 3 times? Maybe it's 2 times. Whatever. But the kind of madness that Bruce Thornton's been able to give, and that his teammates have been able to give Bruce over this last stretch of games, has you feeling really, really good going into the big dance.
And it's one of those things, too, where the one thing that's been holding back the Buckeyes the whole year is not getting the big wins against the big teams. Now, Iowa's a good team. They're not a big win like Purdue was for Ohio State. And if you want them to win in the first round and then get to that second round and be able to beat a 2 seed, today's the day where you can show, hey, if we can hang with Michigan, we can hang with every single 2 seed in the tournament. Same thing with Purdue. When we got that Purdue win, it was great. They finally got their big win. Can they make it more of a trend? Can you beat 2 good teams rather than just holding out for 1 good win on the entire season?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to get Miami lost to UMass. We're going to hear from Frank Martin, the coach of UMass, coming up in the next segment. Hear from Jake Diebler as well. You guys with me on Miami? They're in?
Absolutely.
They should be. I'm a little hesitant. Again, it hasn't been since 1999, the Mid-American Conference putting 2 bids in the big dance.
And it's funny because if you ask anyone that doesn't follow sports closely and explain what the situation was, they would say, oh, it's just common sense. They're 31-1. Like, if I asked my fiance, she'd be like, why wouldn't they be in? They have one of the best records, right? And sometimes that's what it should be in sports. Is it common sense? Should they be in? Yes. Are they better than the 68th team? I don't know, but they deserve to be in.
I don't know if best, most deserving is the conversation. I'm interested in Miami and to see what they will do. Because this is one of those things where you look at Miami and you talked about them being battered. You talked about them having to play 31 games at their best, getting everybody's best. Yeah. Everybody's injured or just trying to stay as healthy as possible at this time of the year. You give them a couple extra days of rest. maybe that's a team that can get healthy and then can get everything right with what was ailing them over the last 4. I mean, it was 2 different tracks that Ohio State and Miami were on.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see with a couple days of rest what a healthy Miami team could do in the tournament. I'm still a little timid about if you put their resume, an at-large Miami Redhawks resume, against some of the others in the SEC or in the Big Ten even, does it stack up with the committee? And I don't know.
Well, I think the real problem for them, if you really wanted to get into it, is the injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, like, the Skowjek kid's playing because the original point guard got hurt. Now Skowjek's got a broken wrist. Did I see that? And he's been incredible for them the last 2 months.
He's a warrior
now he's got
yesterday.
a broken. Yeah, so it's like they're just battered. I mean, the reality was, and this football and basketball, a little bit apples and avocados, but just follow me. The reality is that if this were a 16-team playoff and a mid-major was undefeated, would they get in if their quarterback were out? That's kind of where, I mean, they're just not what they used to be. They are so battered from an injury standpoint. I mean, there was a reason they weren't the favorite going into the MAC tournament, despite the fact that they were 31-0. You could see this coming. I mean, they barely survived. They survived at Kent. They survived at Ohio. I want to say they survived at UMass like a month ago. I mean, how many close games have they had over the last month where they just get through it? And again, you're not going to have to worry about it because they're going to get in. They're going to get in. There's too many powerful people around the sport, whether it's and remember this, the NCAA still pays a lot of attention to the longtime people who cover it. You think about DeCourcy and Forty and all of those guys. You heard Lenardi last night saying, no, they're in, or else what are we doing? Like almost incredulous. They're in. They're going to get in. And I don't think they're going to be in the play-in game either. I think they're going to be an in as an 11 seed, and we'll see where that goes. But they are absolutely battered. Massachusetts coach Frank Martin. Yes, that Frank Martin. I had no idea he was coaching UMass after stints at K-State and South Carolina. You'll hear his comments if the MAC should be a 2-bid league. You'll hear from Jake Diebler as his team moves on to the quarterfinals to play Michigan and all of that size and length. By the way, if you're curious, is Baker texting us Blue Jacket stuff at the start of the show despite the fact that he's off? Yes.
He is doing hockey this weekend, but they got hosed, Davey.
They did. We'll get to all of that. We're off and running on a Friday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better. Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If your garage floor has stains, cracks, or even the dreaded bad epoxy job, maybe one you tried to do yourself, maybe one you paid for and it didn't work out, it can make your entire garage look bad. Let's be honest about it. And maybe those botched garage floor coatings that you've had in the past have put you off of ever getting it fixed. Well, my friends, let me tell you, the people at Comer and Cross Concrete Floor Coatings want you to know there is a fix out there. They can make your garage floor gleaming, glistening, look like a new car showroom. You call Comer and Cross at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, and they will come out with their pros, no subcontractors, and install a gleaming new Comer and Cross garage floor in just 1 day. Yeah, this floor is guaranteed to never chip, crack, or even show tire lift like epoxy or paint can. Never going to have that problem with Comer and Cross. Call them today, 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. It's that easy. 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, or you go to comercross.com. That's C-O-M-E-R cross.com. Get a new garage floor with Comer and Cross Concrete Floor Coatings today.
No one plans to get into an accident, but when it happens, we strive in making life easier for you. This is Justin Hinderer. The Hinderer Motor Company Collision Center is ICAR certified and certified by many manufacturers to provide the best quality repair available. All of our repairs come with a lifetime warranty. We have our own 24/7 towing service so you never have to wait. Plus, we offer on-site rental cars for every lifestyle. At Hinderer Motor Company, we love what moves you.
Remember what sunshine feels like? Windows open, birds chirping, everything looking fresh and new? Spring is closer than you think, and so are those home projects on your to-do list. Maybe winter left its mark, a small leak that's getting bigger, shingles that didn't survive the snowstorms, or siding that's clearly seen better days. Whatever your home is facing, our team of professionals at Newman Roofing are here to help. For more than 34 years, Newman Roofing has been helping homeowners protect what matters most. From your first phone call, you'll notice the difference. Passionate and committed people who care about doing the job right. And with over 1,000 five-star Google reviews, you don't have to take our word for it. If your roof, siding, or gutters need attention, call the family company you can trust, Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof this spring, get a Newman roof.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
This is Pause Before You Play, and it's time for more game day picks from local sports fans. You're on the air. Who you got?
Actually, I'm not betting, just chilling and watching the game.
I know that move. A pause. Sounds like you've got a winning strategy.
Exactly. After I set limits and recognized the risk, I knew it was time to stop.
Now that is responsible betting, folks. Sports are fast. Betting shouldn't be. Make a plan at pausebeforeyouplay.org. That's pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Can you smell it? No, not that. It's tournament time, baby. Catch exclusive coverage of the unveiling of both the men's and women's NCAA tournament.
Live Sunday, March 15th from 6 to 9.
Your home for the madness. The Fan. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
The winds, the main story for us today, as we could get some gusts upwards of 50 to 60 miles per hour, so stay safe and weather aware. Otherwise, we'll see temperatures climb in the mid to upper 50s with gradual clearing throughout the day, and then for tonight, partly cloudy with lows around freezing and still breezy. We start off the weekend on Saturday with mostly cloudy skies and a high right around 50 degrees. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with a 10 weather impact forecast.
Question from a listener: do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. The best hair on the air. You are listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed, you are in Selection Sunday, just a couple of days away. Download the free 10 TV Plus app now. Tune in Sunday, 5:45. Adam King, Nicole Sheeran, guests will be included. They're going to be breaking down the brackets as each region gets revealed. Chasing the Championship is sponsored by Logan Services, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. From the Ohio State perspective, a hell of a win against Iowa yesterday, 72-69. Reese, you're right. Them and Miami kind of went inverted. Buckeyes were up big. Iowa chased all the way. Miami was up big, and then Massachusetts chased all the way. But for the Buckeyes, it gets them a date with Michigan today. The physicality is real. The length is real. I mean, Michigan's a team that can win the national championship. It is what it is. Here's Jake on if physically they will be ready for what is required in about 2 hours.
We're healthier than we've been in a long time. I think that certainly helps. And, you know, there's still an execution element to this game that's going to be really critical. Obviously, it's a big game. It's another big opportunity for us. We're used to playing in big, meaningful games. This one, you know, going against the team up north, like, hits a little different. And I've said that from day one. We don't run from that. But, you know, our approach and focus has to continue to be the same. Like, we are going to recover, prepare well between now and tomorrow, and then, you know, when we're out there, execute, play together, play tough, and keep having the fight we've had the last few weeks.
I mean, look, the size that Michigan is going to present is something that is finite. There's nothing you can do about it, so you have to think about how can you combat it. Here's Jake on there attempting to do so.
We got to be able to combat their size with some size. I think that's part of it. And, you know, we didn't execute our rebounding coverages or rebounding technique well enough. And, you know, their size has been a real asset for them this year. They've used it on both sides of the ball really well. And we got to execute our job at a better level next time.
What chance do you give them, boys?
I'd say 70-30. They win this game.
Really?
I think you have enough momentum, and I understand I'm doing this with the scarlet and gray quarter zip on. But you have first off, you got momentum. Second, you've got Christoph Tilley, who I don't know if he missed a shot until later in the second half yesterday. And so if you've got the size to combat with their size, I looked to the first meeting in Ann Arbor where Ohio State was able to get points off turnovers against the Wolverines, but they just could not get a rebound when they needed it late in that game. So if they're able to turn Michigan over, if they're able to take advantage of points off of those turnovers and then do a much better job rebounding, I think the health of Christoph Tilley, the way he's been playing, the way everybody really around Bruce Thornton has helped to lift number 2 up into now a surefire date with the big dance. I think that can give everybody hope in this, and hope's really the only thing you need because both of these fighters will be in the ring at the same time.
Yep.
I'm more optimistic about them meeting them here in the Big Ten tournament than I ever would be in March Madness, because I know this doesn't mean as much to Michigan as it does to Ohio State right now. I think that's in their favor, but I also can acknowledge that Michigan this season is a really tough matchup for the Buckeyes because of the length. And if we shot like we did the first half yesterday, we're going to struggle. We have to be able to hit threes and hit perimeter shots because the front court of Michigan is long and they're good. We have to control the pace of the game. I think probably today I would give us like a 40% chance, 45% chance. But if we met them in the big dance, I think it would probably be 80% Michigan, 20% Ohio State.
It's a brutal matchup. It just is. Let's go back to the last time Michigan was kind of tested in Big Ten play. They're 28-2. They were 28-2 going into this or coming out of this game. They only have 2 losses on the year. Their losses are to Duke and Wisconsin. That's it. Those are the only 2 losses they have. Duke matches them talent for talent. How'd Wisconsin get them? They outshot them. They won 91-88, something like that. But the last time they were challenged in Big Ten play was by the team that Ohio State beat yesterday. It was by Iowa. This happened a little more than a week ago. In this game, if you're looking for things, okay, what can we do? Well, it's kind of even up when it comes to free throws, about the same amount of threes made. Iowa turned Michigan over. Elliot Cadeau had 4 turnovers in this game. Mara had 4 turnovers in this game. Johnson had 4 turnovers in this game. Michigan turned the ball over 18 times in a 3-point win at Iowa City. Now, what can you take from that? Well, you've got some guards who can get up and guard and be aggressive defensively. And if you can turn them over, maybe there's a path for Ohio State to spring the upset here. And I do believe that if you do that, you can find yourself on that 7 line. And that's a game changer. That's the goal, is to get to that point, get to the 7 line, because then you can start. Because I agree with you, Isaiah, that the 1 seeds, all of them are brutal matchups for Ohio State. Brutal. So get to that 7 line, and now all of a sudden you're playing a 2. Now we can start talking ourselves into Sweet 16s. So one thing at a time, handle Michigan today, and then we'll see what happens and what comes of it. The other big topic of the day yesterday, of course, was Miami losing to Massachusetts, and this notion of the MAC getting 2 NCAA bids for the first time since when, Reese?
99.
Been a minute. Here's Frank Martin, who is the coach at UMass. Of course, yes, that Frank Martin, who was at K-State and South Carolina. I think he got South Carolina to a Final Four. He had a heck of a run with K-State a few years ago as well. Here is Frank Martin on Miami getting into the NCAA tournament.
It would be a complete embarrassment if the decision makers sit in that room. And I've been privy to being on the NABC board. They allow us to go do a sample selection Sunday with the people on the committee. So I know the criteria that goes into it. We've created a bad system. Why? All our teams in our league were all assigned a number before the season started. Those metric numbers that are assigned to us, how do we ever change those numbers if we can't play the teams that are assigned the number 20 to start the season? Because they ain't scheduling. Excuse my bad English. They're not going to schedule us. I've been around the block a couple times, and it's one of the reasons that I was so nervous today. It'd be an embarrassment, a complete embarrassment, if this league doesn't get 2 teams in. This league's too good. I've coached in Conference USA, Big East, name the league, I've been in it. And the top 2 teams in this league are as good as anyone in some of those leagues that I just mentioned. And it'd be a complete embarrassment if that doesn't happen.
I don't think he's going to have to worry about it. I don't. I think it's going to be fine. I'll be candid with you. I had no idea he was the coach at UMass. Had no clue.
I forgot they were in the Mid-American Conference until February.
Yeah, they came over from the A-10.
First time in 43 years they're playing in a not Atlantic 10 tournament.
Yeah.
And they might win the Mid-American Conference tournament.
Boy, you want to talk about so tonight, is the way it plays out up there? And Reese, you've been to that, right? The MAC tournament.
It's so much fun.
It's awesome. Yeah. And I think one of the things that makes it awesome is the win or you're done mentality of it. Like, you have got to win that tournament to get into the tournament. Everybody kind of understands it. But you're going to get Kent and Akron tonight. That thing is going to be nuts up there. The other one is Toledo and UMass. That's going to be less than that. So
there's going to be less juice.
A little less juice.
At 5 o'clock than at 7:30. But yeah, at 7:30, where you got two teams from that part of the state, where their fan bases have to make a 25-minute drive to the Rocket Arena. This is the best time of the year, I think, in sport.
It is. It's awesome. I was pulled into it all last night. I was watching Florida State almost take out Duke. I was watching Kansas against TCU. I was all of it. And I realize they're just for conference championships, but the give a damn level, you can see it with these players. You see what it means to the players and coaches to win a conference tournament. Like, it still has, unlike in football where the conference championship games have lost their mojo, in basketball they still have it. It still works. Was also flipping back and forth between the Blue Jackets. They go down to Florida. They get a point. They lose in overtime. It feels like every game they play goes to overtime. I did not see the tripping penalty on Fantilli. Job, Reese?
Oh, yeah. Matthew Tkachuk with an incredible sells job. He gets the shot off on Elvis and then falls down. And
they gave it to him?
They gave it to him. And you hate it for several reasons, because it's overtime, and so Florida gets a man advantage. You hate it because, for as good as the Blue Jackets were playing last night, Bob was just better. So you got ultimate Sergei Bobrovsky. I guess we'll talk about Julian Sayin coming up. I guess we like doing Mario analogies here, but it felt like the Blue Jackets were racing around Mario Kart, getting red shells and bananas, but Sergei Bobrovsky just had the star that made him invincible to anything. And so Tkachuk does the sales job. Fantilli skates off, understandably angry, and Florida gets the overtime winner.
It puts the Blue Jackets now a point back of Boston in the wild card, so within striking distance there, and 2 points now out of the Islanders in the Metro. So you're right there in terms of being in the mix with 65 games. That means 17 left to play. This was Bake's contribution. The Blue Jackets in last place to the East by 3 points on January 1st. Their playoff odds at that time were 16.5. Today, the Blue Jackets have a 64% chance to make the playoffs with pass to both the Metro and the wild card. So that's per Mark Shegg, who covers the Jackets. So there you go. There you go on that. So yeah, they're in the mix. And next time they will play is Saturday. They will do so. Where are they? Saturday.
They're in Philadelphia taking on the Flyers. So,
okay, yeah. So all of this stuff happening at once, it's almost an overload of activity that's going on. In terms of a preview of the Buckeyes and the Wolverines, we will be joined next in Chicago by our good buddy 1212 Scoonie Penn in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Craving that rush of freedom in 2026? Grab the Ford Bronco Sport with 2.9% APR and up to $4,500 cash rebates. All credit fits. Pre-qualify online at capitalfordcolumbus.com or visit us in Whitehall.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Door Service. Most repairs are simple, but if left untreated, they can turn into costly repairs. Your garage door works hard every day, and a little maintenance goes a long way. We fix garage doors fast with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Over 90,000 five-star reviews don't happen by accident. They happen by putting people first. Fixing your garage doors is what we do. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Door Service today.
A system for every home and every budget at Logan AC and Heat Services. Get a free Trane furnace with the purchase of an air conditioner. And don't forget about our 10-year parts and labor warranty available now. Logan Services.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost, So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 5.89%, APR 5.92% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man? What's up with you?
Well, here's what's up on a Friday. Buckeyes and Wolverines at about 2.5 hours in Chicago in the Big Ten quarterfinals. Joining us now in the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline is a two-time first-team All-Big Ten. He is the 1999 Player of the Year in the Big Ten Conference. He is a Hall of Famer. He is 1-2-1-2, and he joins us there. That was fun yesterday. Got nervy at the end, though, my friend.
Oh, my goodness. It was a great game. I mean, it was probably, about 8 minutes left in the game, and I felt like the game is done, and we look good, and let's kind of control it. And then all of a sudden, Iowa just started raining three-pointers time after time after time. And, but think about it. This time of year, you need these kind of games. You need to be able to pull out close games and figure it out. And we did that and got away with the win. And, this time of year, once that date goes to March, it doesn't matter how you do it, how much you do it by. It's just win in advance. That's all it is.
Buddy, survive in advance was put into the lexicon for a reason, because that's all that matters. Just live to play another day. That's it. And that's why you love it. And you've taken it to the highest level all the way to the Final Four. But that's all you care about. Like, no one's going to look back and go, you won by 3. It was sloppy the last 2 minutes. You won, and you're on to the next. The minutes that they got and the production they got from Tilly early, that takes so much pressure off of everything else, Scoon. Because Bruce is going to get you his 20. I'm going to get to Devin Royal, and it seems like he's dealing with quite a bit in terms of his health. But Tilly's minutes and production early, I thought, was a critical part of this game and the win yesterday.
Yes, he was very active. I mean, from the beginning, on the boards, he was making tough moves to the basket, just being aggressive. And, that was the difference because, like you said, we knew eventually Bruce would get going. Mobley hit a couple shots. Obviously, Bynum been playing great. The young man continues to shine, and people are just falling in love with him, by the game. But Tilly played like a big man in the Big Ten should play yesterday, and we need that kind of performance today as well.
Where did Tyson Chapman come from? I mean, this has been about a month of this, and I know he was banged up early, and I know the injury to Mobley all of a sudden, like he had to, but that's what you're looking for. Who can handle a bigger role? And obviously doesn't have a big contribution yesterday, no points, but he plays 14 minutes, and it allows for a little bit of breathing room for everybody else. And I think that Jake's got his rotation kind of locked in right now, doesn't he?
Yeah, he definitely does. But Chapman is a kid who's talented. Like, this isn't a kid who people are not thinking like he can't play. Yeah. Because if you follow his his past and heard about him, you heard this kid can fill it up. And he's so smooth, very quiet. He's just out there really silky smooth. And before you know it, boom, he's going to knock down some shots or he'll just do a play that'll change the game. But like you said yesterday, he didn't have a big impact in scoring. But what you did was you allowed, a guy like Bruce to sit down for a couple minutes like he did. You helped the rotation. And the rotation is very important because it allows the coach to, put guys in and out to figure out matchups. But if you don't have that, then you have to keep the same guys out there and you run them into the ground. So having those guys off the bench that can give you quality minutes and not lose the lead, but either advance the lead or maintain it, that's very important for a team to win games.
Where's Devin Royal health-wise, as far as you can tell?
It can't be great because it's just not the same Devin Royal. He shows flashes here and there, but for the most part, it's not the same Devin that we've become accustomed to seeing. He's not on the block banging guys, and then he gets unlucky. The kid gets hit yesterday pretty bad in the eye, comes out for a while. But Devin's a guy that we need to be on his game. You got to get him healthy, like, all the way. But at this time of year, who is healthy all the way? No one really is. So you just got to figure out, make him as comfortable as possible so he can be at his best.
Scoon, this matchup today with Michigan, when we talked earlier in the week, there are certain types of teams that are really difficult matchups for this Ohio State team, and I would think Michigan would apply to that. I think they're a tough matchup for everybody, but their length is real. It's one of the things that we can't match them in that. But we went toe-to-toe with them in Ann Arbor before they eventually pulled away. They got us here pretty good. If you're Jake, how do you attack Michigan and make them vulnerable, if they can be made vulnerable?
Well, give those guys credit. They have a really good team. And like you said, they have sides across the board. But these are the kind of games, these are the kind of teams that it's like a benchmark for you at this time of the season, because realistically, we're playing with house money. Yes, we've lost to them 2 times. They have a lot of hype. They have a lot of size. I mean, they are good. But I think we've been playing really good basketball lately, and this is the time to shine. And here's what I think is going to be really good, what I'm looking forward to, because there's no reason why Bruce Thornton shouldn't have been first team all Big Ten.
Yeah.
And we have the player of the year in Big Ten on Michigan. This is the time where you see that across you, like, hey, this team, they didn't respect me and put me where I belong, and now we got to go show them. And I just think there's something for us to play for. I think we should have a chip on our shoulder. Never mind, this is our rival school, a place we hate losing to. But, this is one of those games where, hey, let it fly. Let's play. Let's be confident, because the pressure's not on Ohio State anymore. It's all on Michigan. I think that we can hang in there, and the key is just to stay close throughout the game. And let's get it to the last quarter of the game, the last 5-6 minutes of the game, and keep it around, a reasonable game, and the pressure's all on those guys, and then we can see where the chips fall.
Yeah, I was looking at box scores. The last team to kind of take them down to the wire was Iowa at Iowa City. This is a little more than a week ago, and Iowa turned them over like 18 times, Scoon. So I didn't watch that game, but I'm wondering if Iowa applied a little bit of pressure and Michigan got sloppy with it. But that was kind of the one thing that Iowa was able to do. The only other team to get them in Big Ten play was Wisconsin, and that was just a shootout, 91-88. So you can match baskets with them. You could try to play with a little bit of tempo. Is that potentially something that Jake could do today?
He's going to have to do that, because their size it hurts really bad, because it doesn't allow you to get into the paint a lot. They control the boards. So you have to get these guys moving. You got to get the big guys moving side to side. So it's hurry up early offense, so they're not set. Then maybe you get a chance to get downhill and touch the paint, because once Michigan is set defensively and those big guys can just hang out in their positions, it makes it very tough for us to get any paint touches. And then if you're not hitting outside shots, they're just going to destroy you. So I just think that you need to get the ball out quick, especially early on in the game, and see if we can attack and get downhill and maybe, hit some fouls on the big guys. But like you said, this is a game Tilly's going to have to really step up and play like he did yesterday.
He absolutely is. And just to give you an idea, and this is just me hypothesizing, this is not fact, but just looking at bracketology, right now it feels like Ohio State is locked in as an 8. So as you know, that means you're in the 8-9, which I know you don't like. But then beyond that, should you win, now you're going to get a 1. And now right now the ones feel like Arizona, Florida, Michigan, and Duke are the ones it feels like they're cemented. Scoon, if you can get a win over Michigan today, now you're on that 7 line. Now you're talking about, if you win the 7-10, you're talking about Iowa State, UConn. I wouldn't want to play Houston. Houston's a 2 right now, and then Michigan State. But it's more manageable. It's more possible. I do think that a 7 seed could be at stake today, my friend.
I believe you. I really think it is at stake. And I've been saying that, and I said it before. You don't want to be an 8 or a 9, especially not an 8. We need to somehow get to that 7 line. Yeah. A win today would definitely move us to a 7 line. Or we could even move to a 6 line, depending on what happens with other teams. But we definitely have to try to get off that line, because, like you said, the road is a little bit easier. But we got to worry about today's task, and today's task is that team up north, and those young men. They were Big Ten champions for a reason, and but they can be gotten, because I think a team like this, they had a layoff, they haven't played all week. They were at the game yesterday, just sitting by, relaxing, and you're the team with the momentum because while you got your feet wet yesterday, you got to play a little bit. You had a chance to touch these slick basketballs that they have. It's the worst you can see it. I think that the teams, you can tell they had the hard time controlling the ball yesterday, and it was just slipping. It's always like that, and I can't stand that when you get to tournament time. So, we do have a little advantage, and I hope that these guys realize that and can use it.
Yeah, people don't realize that. So in the NCAA tournament, you have to use a new ball every game. Isn't that the idea?
Yep.
So nobody wants to shoot with a new ball.
No, you can tell. And you made a great point because, again, if you watched the games yesterday and the last couple of days in the Big Ten, people are having trouble controlling the basketball.
Mm-hmm.
A team like Michigan, you want to try to turn them over. We need that. They didn't play yesterday, so these new basketballs will be slick for them. I mean, it could be a trick. It could be something that could help us. One turn over here, one turn over there, it can change the game.
I'll get you out of here on this one. What would you do, or what do you think will happen with Miami, Ohio? 31-0, lose in the first round of the MAC tournament yesterday to UMass. They're obviously not healthy. What do you think happens with them?
I think they fall into the first four in. So they'll have to play in Dayton. That's just my thought. Because I feel that if they don't, I think the uproar will be crazy because this team went undefeated. What was it, 30 or 31-0?
Yeah.
Yes, I understand you lost your first game in the conference tournament. Will the committee hold that against them? Yeah, they will because they won't be a really good seed. But I do think that they will be in, but we will see them playing in Dayton.
You're the best, buddy. I think you might be right on that, by the way. You're right on most things. We'll do it again soon. Go Bucks, and hopefully get a fun one this afternoon over in Chicago.
All right now, Bo. Take care.
There he goes. Scoonie Penn joining us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We'll do Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
At Babs R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Babs R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued. Babs R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement, or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, loans and no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BAB to schedule your free estimate or go to babsrus.com. Babs R Us, where dreams soak in.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If your garage floor has stains, cracks, or even the dreaded bad epoxy job, maybe one you tried to do yourself, maybe one you paid for and it didn't work out, it can make your entire garage look bad. Let's be honest about it. And maybe those botched garage floor coatings that you've had in the past have put you off of ever getting it fixed. Well, my friends, let me tell you, the people at Comer and Cross Concrete Floor Coatings want you to know there is a fix out there. They can make your garage floor gleaming, glistening, look like a new car showroom. You call Comer and Cross at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, and they will come out with their pros, no subcontractors, and install a gleaming new Comer and Cross garage floor in just one day. Yeah, this floor is guaranteed to never chip, crack, or even show tire lift like epoxy or paint can. Never going to have that problem with Comer and Cross. Call them today, 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. It's that easy. 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, or you go to comercross.com. That's COMER cross.com. Get a new garage floor with Comer and Cross Concrete Floor Coatings today.
The sports book at Hollywood Casino Columbus is the place to be for all the basketball action. Watch every game at once on 2 video walls spanning 50 feet, plus over 30 TVs. Come show off your jump shot in our King of the Court drawings and take home memorabilia from a Cleveland basketball legend. We've also got unbeatable game day food and drinks all season long. Guarantee your spot. Reserve a table with up to $300 in dining credits at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Why does it matter to members that Aetna was named a Best Medicare Advantage company by U.S. News & World Report? Because they chose a plan that gives them real support, real people, and real care. We show up on calls with members and doctors' offices when needed. We show up with access to convenient care options and coverage that fits everyday life. We don't show up for awards. We show up for you. And showing up for you is how healthier happens together.
Hi, Dave.
Your people were at my house yesterday.
Are you happy they came?
I never realized how much that junk was bothering me until it was gone.
We love to give people that clean, happy feeling, Dave. Thanks for calling.
I feel great. Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
When your wonderful people were about to drive away, I looked at my wife and said, that was love with its sleeves rolled up.
Did your wife agree?
Absolutely.
Dave, you made my day.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Common Man here for Jermaine. Everybody's talking about affordability when buying a car these days, but the truth is, GoJermaine.com has a great selection of affordable inventory. Maybe that tax return's going to hit your mailbox pretty soon. Well, go see my friends because they have 300 new cars under 30 grand, over 300 used cars under 20 grand, and it's only at GoJermaine.com. And along with their $1,000 price promise, no one's going to sell you a car for less. Get started at GoJermaine.com.
Join the fan weeknights at 6 for the Buckeye Show. And if you're asking if it's just a bunch of homers rooting for all things Ohio State, yes, it is. Proud to be your flagship home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie, and once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
Then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Abbreviated 2-hour version of the program today to accommodate the Buckeyes at noon against Michigan in the Big Ten tournament. So Thing or Not a Thing hits an hour early. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or Not a Thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Following their upset in yesterday's Mid-American Conference Tournament quarterfinals, Miami head coach Travis Steele was asked about his mood with 3 days until Selection Sunday.
I'm not letting anybody take my mind. I'm not going to waste 1 second. When you've been fired before, listen, you don't care anymore. You don't care what people think. You don't have to be politically correct. Like all that stuff, guys, like I'm just telling you, like I'm going to live life the way I live it. Unapologetically. I'm not letting anybody take my mind. I'm not going to waste 1 second. When you've been fired before, listen, you don't care anymore. You don't care what people think. You don't have to be politically correct. Like all that stuff, guys, like I'm just telling you, like I'm going to live life the way I live it. Unapologetically. I'm not letting anybody take my mind.
For what it's worth, Joe Lunardi has 2 MAC teams in the big dance. Akron, a 12 seed, Miami, an 11 seed. Selection Sunday at 6 p.m. Sunday. Thing or not a thing?
Well, not a thing. I mean, I'm going to use that on the boys. Don't let these things take your minds. Like, I mean, that's a great line. It's a great line for all of us, right? I'm not going to let this take my mind. Like, I'm going to have freedom of all of that. I don't know what getting fired has to do with that. I also don't believe him because I'm guessing he's going to be worried about this every single second of every single day from now until Sunday. My hunch is that he will be on one of the halftime or pregame shows, whether that's CBS or on ESPN sometime between now and Selection Sunday. I would be shocked if he's not on CBS in the lead up to the selection show. I'm sure that they will ask him to do it, and he would have to say yes because it's great exposure for his program. After Isaiah answers his thing or not a thing on this, I'm also curious, do either of you guys know why he wears a blue T-shirt under his quarter zip all the time, what that's about?
No.
It's interesting. He's worn the same blue quarter zip underneath that, same blue T-shirt underneath the black quarter zip the whole run. And I just wonder where the blue T-shirt came from.
It's his lucky shirt, I guess.
I guess, but it's like not their colors at all.
Can't be sure on that one. For me, I think it's not a thing. I would say the reason is he has to do this. Like, he has to be confident. He has to show that just because they're a mid-major doesn't mean he's going to let him get walked over. Like, what's he supposed to do in the press conference? Say, oh, man, I wish we would have won. Like, we're out now. And the other thing, too, is where Miami's at in the bubble conversation, the bubble is so weak this year. There's teams at the edge of this tournament that are playing themselves out of the tournament. I mean, look at Indiana. They needed that one against Ohio State. Didn't get it. Cincinnati was pushing for a second. What did they do? Losing the very first round of the Big 12 tournament. So there's so many teams that are right on the edge that are just shooting themselves in the foot. So for Miami right now, they should be confident. They should act like they're already in, because that's going to put more pressure on the committee to put them in the tournament.
So Steele was fired after 4 seasons at Xavier, so I think that's where that comes from, after the 2022 season. And he told ESPN that he wears a lucky shirt he wears a lucky shirt under his quarter zip for every game. So he told ESPN, I've got a Skyline Chili shirt and I've got an Ultimate Warrior t-shirt. So if you know the Homage Skyline shirt, blue, and the original Ultimate Warrior shirt from Homage, also blue.
Yeah.
So
he said, and I'm even seeing more here, it's a good luck charm requested by his 3-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
Wore these shirts during the team's hot streak, including the 20-0 start.
He clearly doesn't care. He doesn't even care about matching. He does not care.
No, not at all.
But 31.
Homage would have made him a red one. Ultimate Warrior. They would have done it. I don't know about Skyline.
On Thursday, number 7 Iowa State beat number 16 Texas Tech 75-53 in a Big 12 quarterfinal game. During the second half, Raiders guard Christian Anderson strained a muscle while slipping on the new glass floor, leaving their all-conference player to watch from the bench. Anderson told reporters after the game, quote, obviously the floor is a bit slippery, so I think I just kind of misstepped or did a movement that caused me to slip and kind of end up a little unnatural position. That's what it was. And, quote, the Big 12's new glass surface has drawn mixed reviews during the women's and men's tournaments in Kansas City over the last 2 weeks. It was funny, in ESPN's reporting, they made sure to add, I think for legal reasons, it's important to note that slips can occur on any surface, including traditional hardwood floors. Here's from Texas Tech's head coach, quote, it's definitely different. It's obviously a different surface than we're used to playing on, and there were some challenging movements today is what I would say. I think with size around the basket, it's not a big issue, but the quickness of guard play and stop and start action, it just has a different response than what we're used to, end quote. Thing or not a thing.
Yeah, this can happen on any floor, obviously. I don't know if this one's any more slippery than a wood floor would be when you get sweat accumulation. I want to say it was in the Ohio State game yesterday. There was a slide that happened at mid-court, and one of the players rushed over to go help a guy up, and then he slid, and that was on hardwood, obviously. How did this land for you? Did you guys see? I watched the Kansas game, or most of it last night, the KU-TCU game, and I mean, the kids thought it was cool because when the shot would go in, it would illuminate, so it had that type of thing. But it was odd they just chose like a gray court, I thought. If you're going to have an LED court, like live a little.
Yeah, I do wonder if they tried before actual games were played with different colors on the court, and gray was just like, no, this is the one that annoys us the least. Because that thing can do so, like, it can show almost real-time highlights.
Yeah.
And so it's a really cool thing to have for, like, a gimmick, but for your conference tournament, I go, maybe just stick with the wood, guys.
Maybe they're trying to ease people into it, too. If they would have went full out lime green, it would have had all eyes on it. They're like, let's just test out gray, and maybe like we'll get some eyes on it, and the people that watch will think it's cool, but we won't get too much pressure on it. I think it's a thing, but not because of the injury, but just because the movement, especially right now, we're seeing in college sports, has been going on in the NBA, of spectacle over actual competition. Like, if the biggest innovation of the Big 12 tournament is a court that's not even for making traction better or making the performance better for the athlete, like, that's a problem, that they're moving towards presentation over actually the competition in the game. But at the end of the day, if the floor improves TV watch, if it improves getting younger people into the game, they're going to keep it. The players are going to get used to it. And 5 to 6 years from now, maybe everyone will have an illuminated court.
I kind of just read it as the Big 12, and Brett Yormark was like, free basketball court. Absolutely, we'll take it.
We'll take it. They'll talk about us. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm. The Miami Heat followed up their win over the Washington Wizards earlier in the week with a 112-105 win over the Milwaukee Bucks last night. Bam Adebayo, who had 83 points in that game earlier this week, he had just a pedestrian 21 in 35 minutes of action. Here's Miami's Eric Spoelstra, who was asked after the game last night about criticism of how the Heat played in that 83-point game earlier in the week.
I apologize to absolutely no one, period. And, you know, going into the game, it's a Tuesday night game against a team where they're not playing for anything, where their organization is trying to lose. We've already lost a game, in that kind of situation. We have players that are sitting out, and I spoke to Bam about I want, as our best player and team captain, for him to be locked in and ready. And he sure was.
Thing or not a thing.
Good for him. Good for him. I don't agree with what they did down the stretch, the way that all played out. But at the same time, good for him. And I also didn't have the context that they had lost to a team that wasn't trying earlier. I didn't have that context. So to me, I say good for him. Good for Spo. I would defend my guys too.
I think it's a thing, and it just shows the whole reason that this happened is because there's a gap right now in the NBA between teams that are trying to win and teams that are not trying to win. So if you show up in a game where you're not trying to win, we can't talk about sportsmanship at the end of an NBA game where everyone's making millions and millions of dollars. Everyone out there are professionals. I think if you asked any former NBA player, they would say, stop him. Stop Bam from scoring 83 on you. If anything, even if you're not trying to be the 1 seed in the East, maybe you are tanking, but if you're a basketball player that's played your entire life, you can't let somebody drop 83 on you. I don't care if you've been competitive at all in your life. You got to step up at some point during the game and say, guys, we got to put an end to this. And once they got to 70 points in the last 2 minutes of the game, yeah, go for it. Go for it.
I think the beef that people had was the 43 free throws that the refs were kind of complicit, that he was kind of leaning in to get fouls. And then the fact that the Heat were fouling to preserve clock. I think that was kind of the manipulation that drove some people a little bit nuts.
The fouling at the end by the Heat, that was a bit cheap. That was cheap.
Crazy. We're going to go 821-9710, eighth caller in honor of Mr. Wierenski's gold medal. It is St. Patrick's Day, and the Jackets are fighting for the playoffs. Caller 8 gets 2 tickets to see the Jackets take on Carolina Tuesday night at Nationwide. Face-off is 7. March is playoff hockey. Get tickets at bluejackets.com. Eighth caller scoops that up. Final hour of the program coming up next. Tim May at 10:30 on what he's seen in the first week of Buckeye camp. We'll hear from Julian Sayin in terms of what he has to get better at and what we learned this week. It's all coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We're your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, you may be in big trouble with Chip Wood.
Our owner?
Free oil changes along with alignment
on any 4-tire purchase.
And Goodyear's up to $160 off?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike, but I'm telling.
But the Wood family is behind all this.
Oh, those rascals.
But don't tell the accountants.
Of course not. And what do they do again?
Buy any set of 4 tires at Tire Discounters and get a free alignment and oil change. Make them Goodyear's and save up to $160 more. See store for details.
There's an old story about cat toys that's been retold for over 20 years because it perfectly explains who we are. This is Dennis Sullivan, president of Care Heating and Cooling. Years ago, a couple who shared their house with 3 cats had another company out to look at their furnace. After working on it, the technician said it was dangerous and had to be replaced. The couple called Care for a second opinion, and my dad Mike went out to help them. When he inspected the furnace, the cause of the problem became obvious. A cat toy had been stuffed into the heat exchanger. With the toy removed, the furnace ran perfectly. Now, how did the toy get there? You can decide for yourself, but here's what mattered then and still matters now. The first company paid commissions to their service techs to sell new furnaces. At Care, we pay our technicians to fix furnaces, not sell you a new one. And if a new furnace is needed, our team of replacement specialists will advise you on all options available and help you make your best choice. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
Common Man and Timmy for our friends at Hollywood Casino.
Oh, it's a big month, Common Man.
Why?
Because there's lots of basketball to watch and lots of cash to win.
That's right. If you're watching hoops, you can reserve your spot at HollywoodColumbus.com. And some of the packages come with $300 in dining credits.
And this month you could win $1 million instantly. That's your final answer. Plus, there's multiple ways to score big cash prizes weekly.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Hey, basketball.
Mortgage rates have dropped, and the best news is they're expected to go down even more. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. If you've been thinking about buying a new home, now is the time. And with Third Federal's Buy Now, Refi Later program, you don't have to wait for rates to drop again. You get the guaranteed lowest rate now, and if rates drop later, even after you close, you can refinance to a lower rate for free. That's right, for free. And now with Third Federal's early rate lock, you can lock in the guaranteed lowest rate even before you find a house. So you'll always have the best rate. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today and lock in the guaranteed lowest rate.
Right now at Third Federal, lock in 5.89%, APR 5.92% on a 30-year fixed rate purchase mortgage and refinance later if rates go down for free. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for buy now, refi later. Lowest rate guarantee and early rate lock at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
At Germain Honda of Dublin, they get it. Nobody grows up dreaming of driving a minivan, but it's hard to argue with unbeatable versatility. Enter the Honda Odyssey, packed with space, comfort, and family-friendly features that make life easier. And if you want efficiency, Germain Honda has you covered with great incentives on hybrid favorites like the CR-V, the Civic, and the Accord. Shop Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road just south of 270 and at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to SleepBetterColumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Big Ten Tournament quarterfinals are today at the United Center in Chicago. Ohio State battles number 3 Michigan in the first game of the day. You can hear it on the Fan with coverage at 11. Buckeyes beat Iowa 72-69 yesterday to advance to today's game. Winner today gets Wisconsin or Illinois tomorrow in the semis. The Mid-American Conference semifinals are tonight in Cleveland. UMass has Toledo at 5:30. The Minutemen shocked number 20 Miami of Ohio 87-83 yesterday in the quarterfinals. Redhawks are 31-1 on the season. They'll have to wait until 6 p.m. Sunday for their big to the big dance. In other news, the Big 12 is switching back to hardwood floors for their conference semifinals after the Glass 4 received criticism earlier this week for being too slick. On the ice last night in Florida, the Panthers beat the Blue Jackets 2-1 in overtime. CBJ 4-0-4 in their last 8. They'll look to keep their point streak alive at 8 games, wrapping up a 3-game road trip Saturday in Philadelphia. Here, Blue Jackets Flyers tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, right here on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Bo could quit today and become the school drop-off line coordinator. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
I'll tell you what, all you got to do on that is just stay. Just stay out there. And then, because as soon as you go in on the school drop-off line, the rules go out the window. As soon as you can have all the signs you want. No one's pulling up to the signs unless there's a human making them. We don't live in a society anymore. We don't. We did. We used to. I'm sure we used to be considerate. No longer. No longer. So that fixes that in a hurry. Final hour of the program, Tim May in 27 minutes. Here's what we learned this week. Hit it, boys.
We're not trying to do too much around here, but over the course of 5 days, you might have gleaned some stuff. Bishop and Friends present What We've Learned This Week.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co. Make a reservation today at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
I think we not necessarily learned, but confirmed. Reese, you remember when I went over to the Combine a couple of weeks ago, and I said there are things that the league, that you think about the league, that by the time you're done with the Combine, it almost becomes like done. And this speaks to, quite honestly, this speaks to what happened with Baltimore this week with Max Crosby, where they did that dirty. That's a pretty dirty deal that they did with Crosby, because they had a better option in Trey Hendrickson without having to get the ones. Hendrickson is not the player that Crosby is, but all of a sudden you get 80% of Crosby and you get your 2 ones back. A lot of these deals could have been consummated the Friday after the Combine. And the NFL has a schedule problem. And my point in this is the 2 quarterbacks who signed this week. By the time I left Indianapolis on that Thursday of Combine week, I knew Malik Willis would be a Miami Dolphin. I knew it. Anybody who was in Indianapolis knew that Malik Willis was going to be a Miami Dolphin. In fact, I remember coming on here either the day after or the following week and saying it was just a matter of how is Tua going to be eradicated from Miami. That was the only thing that was up for debate is how is Tua no longer going to be with the Miami Dolphins. But you knew Malik Willis was going to be a Dolphin, and you also knew that Kyler Murray was going to be a Minnesota Viking. And that happened yesterday. It's the best spot by a million miles for him to go to. Dome, Justin Jefferson, ready-made team. If he's going to resurrect it, that's the place you do it. Quarterback whisperer and Kevin O'Connell, all of it. Confirmed, not learned. What happens at the Combine is what's going to happen in free agency and to a certain extent what's going to happen in a draft. And for whatever reason, we have to sit for 2 weeks before it actually becomes official. And I think that's some of the problem, and it was really exacerbated by what Baltimore did this week.
So we've got to go 2 weeks without meaningful NFL news? Is what I'm hearing with this. I think you're still waiting for some reason on Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins. Mac Jones might still be in play, but are the Browns good with their 3 quarterbacks going into the summer?
I think that you will get a Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson competition is what you're going to get. You're going to have those 2 guys compete for the job and let the chips fall where they may. Both of them at this point are essentially lottery tickets. If either one hits, it would be a massive boost to the franchise. So I think you're going to see a true quarterback competition between those 2. I think this was all. Look, if you're Kyler, let's just look at this objectively. Like if you're Kyler Murray, this was always the place. You're not going to go play in. Like let's say Rodgers doesn't. By the way, I was right on this last year with Rodgers in Pittsburgh. I said all offseason, Pittsburgh is too smart of an organization to go this far into the offseason and not know that Rodgers is going to play for them. And he played for them. And I think the same thing now. Rodgers, everything that Pittsburgh is doing, the acquisition of Pittman, Rico Dowdle coming in at running back, it's all to appease Rodgers. He likes big receivers on the outsides that he can back shoulder throw. I am completely convinced that Aaron Rodgers is playing for the Steelers this year. I see no scenario where he's not. But let's just, for the sake of it, let's just say he wasn't. And you're Kyler, and you can go play in Pittsburgh on that turf, outdoor in the elements, or I can go to Minnesota, Dome, Jefferson, Addison, sold. It's an easy sell.
And it's a great move for Minnesota, too. I mean, they essentially, with that 1.3, he's on the vet minimum contract for Kyler Murray. I mean, if he pans out, they're getting a top 10, top 12 quarterback if he's anything of his previous self after these injuries. And if he doesn't pan out, you spent $1 million. Like the most valuable thing in the NFL is that rookie contract. See if you can get a quarterback on a rookie contract, right? They tried to do that with JJ, not really panning out there. What do? They got a second breath of life with Kyler Murray on a second chance because guess what? If JJ would have came back this year and been their starter, Justin Jefferson about halfway through the season would have been asking out of there. Let's see if Kyler can keep him happy for a little bit longer.
With the moves over the years that the Bengals either have made or haven't made, are they going to regret any one more than not getting anything for Trey Hendrickson, who is a 4-year, $112 million richer with the Baltimore Ravens?
Get compensatory picks. Yeah, I'll defend them a little bit here from the sense of they tagged him, I think, because Burrow was like, tag him.
Yeah.
So I actually like what the Bengals did in free agency. I kind of like it. Even the stuff they did yesterday, like they've really enhanced their defense quite a bit. You get a safety. Their defensive line has been completely kind of renovated. So I actually will cut them a little bit of slack. But yes, I do think like the Hendrickson thing, what they probably should have done, Reese, is they should have traded him last year before the deadline in season. Once your season was lost, that's when they should have dealt him. And they didn't, even to pick up a third. But honestly, this is where I get a little bit confused. I'll acknowledge it. I don't know, did they get a compensatory pick because he signs elsewhere? Like, did they get a third? It might have been all that they were going to get for trading him anyway. I mean, he wins as big as anything.
Right. And the idea, again, that he's going to go to Baltimore. They're going to see him 2 times a year for the next however many. They do get a compensatory pick. All of it feels 7th rounder. So
not much there.
Yeah.
Probably could have got more for him to trade him.
Also,
100%.
I saw this from Pete Thamel. The Big 12 is going to transition to a hardwood court for the remainder of the tournament.
Say that.
You can't do that. You can't do that. If you're gonna put it out there, you can't now backpedal immediately and say, "Oh my goodness, we were wrong. We have to change it now." You got to stay with it. You got to stick with it.
You're gonna see parts of that glass court up on eBay.
That is. Who paid for that thing?
The backpedal. Too quick of a backpedal.
I agree.
I keep going back to I think the company gave it to him for free, and Brett Yormark said sure, and then Texas Tech coach, after yesterday losing his best player and then getting knocked out of the tournament, he said it wasn't harsh outwardly, but probably inwardly he was like, you got to scrap this thing. And maybe other coaches, maybe it took Bill Self-Walk and be like, you got to scrap this thing.
That would do it. Yeah. If Darren Peterson fell in the first half of the game, was kind of rubbing his shoulder, and I could see Bill Self like walking right over to Yormark and say, listen, pal, I need hardwood tomorrow. We're going to sort that out really quickly. All right, one other, I did want to bring, with everything else that was going on, this one may have gotten lost in the mix, but Nick Meyer's Ohio State lacrosse team, they're in the middle of a crazy stretch. They beat Georgetown in D.C. at the end of the month, lost to Notre Dame by 1 here on Saturday in a game that they led, and I'm sure he wishes he could have that one back, but Notre Dame's number 1 in the country. They're ranked 9th. They beat Denver last night 6-4, a little evening delight on a Thursday, Isaiah.
I was at the game on Saturday for the Notre Dame game. Unbelievable game. They even had a chance at the end to win it, but I will say their man up the whole game was killing them, Ohio State. But they've been fantastic this year. That was their first loss of the season. They got all the way up to number 6, and then getting another win against Denver last night was huge. The Georgetown game was great. They've got a good team this year.
Yeah, next time you'll see them play will be on the 21st. Next time they're here will be on the 28th. Penn State is here on the 28th. So, and then at Maryland, it's fun. So that's a program that can win a national championship this year. The Buckeye football team can win a national championship this year as well. If they do so, in large part because of the play of Julian Sayin. He spoke yesterday. He looks like he's got a little facial hair. The hair's been trimmed. We got a brand new Jules. We're going to hear from him coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State athletics, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
5 seconds to Sharp, top of the key, lost the dribble. He's got to pick it up. It's scooped up by Condon. Condon secures it, and Florida found a way. From 12 down to the school's 3rd national championship in men's basketball.
It was an epic come-from-behind win for the Florida Gators in last year's men's title game. Find out who will claim this year's titles with Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NCAA men's and women's tournaments right here.
Need parts fast? Need them now? O'Reilly is fast. Just one part that makes O'Reilly Auto Parts stand apart. Right now at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts, you can get 1 free set of brake pads when you buy 2 qualifying brake rotors. Ask the professional parts people about additional brake pad and rotor upgrade options available at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Looking for a job that's all fun and games? El Dorado Scioto Downs, your premier Caesars entertainment destination in Columbus, is hiring passionate and hardworking individuals to our winning team. We're filling multiple positions, including security, food and beverage, gaming attendants, and more. Whether you're looking for a new career or a seasonal position at the action-packed racetrack, we've got you covered. Meet the team at our hiring fair on Friday, March 20th from 12 to 4 p.m. at the clubhouse, or apply online today at Caesars.com/careers. Must be 21 plus to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Working your way through that home projects list? More flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks for all your plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling needs. Call the Waterworks. Trusted and certified plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Hey, what's up? up, it's T-Bone. If your garage floor has stains, cracks, or even the dreaded bad epoxy job, maybe one you tried to do yourself, maybe one you paid for and it didn't work out, it can make your entire garage look bad. Let's be honest about it. And maybe those botched garage floor coatings that you've had in the past have put you off of ever getting it fixed. Well, my friends, let me tell you, the people at Comer & Cross Concrete Floor Coatings want you to know there is a fix out there. They can make your garage floor gleaming, glistening, look like a new car showroom. You call Comer & Cross at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, and they will come out with their pros, no subcontractors, and install a gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor in just one day. Yeah, this floor is guaranteed to never chip, crack, or even show tire lift like epoxy or paint can. Never going to have that problem with Comer & Cross. Call them today, 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. It's that easy. 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, or you go to comercross.com. That's COMER cross.com. Get a new garage floor with Comer & Cross Concrete Floor Coatings today.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or give us a call and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Rothman and Ice.
We're hoping to add Zach here at 2:30, hoping.
So what's the deal? So I'm just calling him and we'll see if he picks up?
Yeah, I think that's how we're going to play it.
Rothman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
The winds, the main story for us today, as we could get some gusts upwards of 50 to 60 miles per hour, so stay safe and weather aware. Otherwise, we'll see temperatures climb in the mid to upper 50s with gradual clearing throughout the day, and then for tonight, partly cloudy with lows around freezing and still breezy. We start off the weekend on Saturday with mostly cloudy skies and a high right around 50 degrees. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with a 10 weather impact forecast.
The Big Nine was a sad, incomplete place. Enter Ohio State. The rest is history. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are. We are proudly sponsored and brought to you by our great friends at Diamond Solar, your true jeweler for nearly 80 years. Buckeye spring football continues amidst all of this. And by the way, just from, selfishly, Reese, from a content perspective, they moved this sucker to May. We're really going to be swimming in it, aren't we?
Yeah, that's the ideal scenario.
Isn't that a win for us?
You give me a May spring game, I get Blue Jackets, I get March Madness, and then I get spring Buckeye football. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we got so much going on right now, and obviously this is the big boy. But at the same time, there's a lot going on, and you don't get.
We don't need it, but we need it.
We don't need it.
Yeah.
No, you paratroop this sucker into May 20th, and now we're talking leading. Now I'd have to change my unofficial start of spring, unofficial start of summer with the Memorial and the spring game, but I'll adjust.
So that'll be interesting to see how they play that, because we do think it's more of a when they move the college football calendar, when Ohio State moves spring from March, April to May, June into the summer, what they do with the Memorial Tournament, if they do anything at all.
Yeah. No, it'll stay, and then you'll just I think that where they put it in there, but look, we'll take it. I think that will work for us. I do like it. It's just a beautiful mess, like everything in college football. The idea that you would start a practice for 2 weeks, take a week off, and then continue practice for 2 weeks. It's just so stupid. It's just only college sports does stuff like this where none of it really makes any bit of sense. One of the things that was really cool yesterday is you got Julian Sayin at the podium. The Buckeyes have completed a couple of practices. The annual spring game will be April 12th at noon. There is no quarterback competition this year. There was one last year, and it kind of dominated it. Now this is about Julian, I think, establishing himself as one of the leaders of this team. He was asked that yesterday. 51 new players. How do you lead them?
It's been a fun offseason, getting to know these guys, and I think we mesh well together. It's been a lot of fun just within the weight room and challenging each other and competing and spending time outside the facility. So I think it'll be a good group, and I'm excited about it.
I guess I didn't think about this, but this will be his third offensive coordinator. I never thought of it, because it's always the Ryan Day offense. It's not like in the NFL when a new coordinator comes in and you got to learn a new offense here or there. Defensively, you go from 4-3 to 3-4. Like, they're running the Ryan Day offense, but this will be his third different offensive coordinator in his 3 seasons at Ohio State. Here's Jules on that.
I don't think it's been, very much of an adjustment. As a quarterback, you're going to have to learn new offenses and learn different verbiage and things like that. And so I think it's been great to kind of see all those perspectives as a quarterback.
I guess
this is
4
always
offensive coordinators in his
count 'em
hot cup of coffee at Alabama.
Oh yeah, so his week in Tuscaloosa. Who would that have been? That would have been. I mean, he was gone before DeBoer was even hired?
Yes.
So it probably would have been Saban's.
Wasn't Tommy Reese, was it?
Was it?
I think it was Tommy Reese. He was 2023 was Tommy Reese.
Probably been Tommy Reese.
You're telling me I was in a building with Tommy Reese for a year and I never asked him about the recruitment of Julian Sayin? That's a bad job out of me.
How much did he really do? Was it more Alabama and, hey, I'm Nick Saban, come play
Probably, but I assume that he was involved. I mean, that's a bad job out of me. That's a fail. The thing that's going to be tricky, and I said this yesterday, I'm going to be very annoyed with the conversation already of, is Julian going to run enough? Like, I'm already going to be annoyed of it. But the one thing that is also it's a little tricky is this notion that Julian has to get better. Folks, he has a top 5 most accurate season in the history of college football. He was a Heisman finalist. It's as good a first year as you're going to have. I mean, it's right up there with CJ's first year, which was historically nuts. And yet we want more. Here's Julian on the idea of elevating his game.
There's so many things I can improve on, and just keep elevating my game. I went home this offseason and was able to spend a little bit of time and work out. But it's been a very fun offseason because there's been so many things that we did good last year, but we could do so much better. And whether it's just clean your feet in the pocket, whether it's taking off when we need it on third down, and just there's been a lot of things that's it's been encouraging to chase those.
It's already seeping in. Taking off on third down.
There it is.
He's hearing it. He's already hearing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't need him to run. Just keep spinning it. Run if you need to, but as a last resort. I don't need him to be a dual threat quarterback. I just, when it's there, pick it up. I think the blueprint for this is like CJ in the Georgia game. Like, that's kind of what you want. I don't need him carrying it 10 times. I don't want him carrying it 10 times. His superpower is his accuracy and his brain. And he processes as fast as anybody, and he gets it out as fast as anybody, and he's absurdly accurate. Now, he will be throwing to some parts of a new receiver group. It helps that you still have 4 back, Brendan Ennis back as well, but on the outside opposite, whether it's Chris Henry or one of the other young guys who's involved, there will be some new targets to throw to. Here's Jules on that.
All 3 of those guys can be really good receivers for us. Devin and Kyle, it's been great to have those guys as transfers, and they've meshed really well. And Devin and Kyle both got a lot of speed, and they'll go in and they make great blocks for us. So I'm excited about them. And then Chris he's been great so far. As a freshman, he's been making great plays. I'm excited about him.
When you think about what you need to see from Sayin, not over the next 3 weeks, but what you need to see from him in Austin week 2, to me, I go back to what I saw here against the Longhorns to open the season. And I said this the Monday after the game. I think Ohio State could have given him a lot more. And one thing that I'm curious to see if they do, last year they intentionally played about as slow as you can play. And the idea with that was, we are so talented, we will win games when it matters in the fourth, and let's preserve plays for a long run in the postseason. To me, this kid is at his best, and this offense is at its best when they play with a little bit of tempo. So now, that's not necessarily what Arthur Smith has been historically. So will he want to continue to play a more slowed down, deliberate pace? that's what I want to know. Will we get those answers over the next 3 weeks? I don't know. We probably won't really get them until we get to Austin week 2.
You might see a little bit of it, that spring game on April 18th. But I do wonder for Arthur, he's never had a talent disparity like this against the teams that he's going to play in the NFL. The talent just equates all across the board too many times. Here, you're almost dealing with a whole different level of talent relative to what your opponent's got. So I am curious, like you are, to see how much he does want to open this thing up and push the pace. Really push the pace like you saw Ohio State do with success against Miami and Indiana. Because there's the blueprint. You want to bother Julian Sayin, you got to bother Julian Sayin.
And I think, too, coming in the spring, the one thing that really is going to be the most beneficial is just getting the rapport between Arthur Smith and Julian Sayin. We've talked about how he's turned over so many OCs, and we'll see this from year 1 to year 2. It's really tough when you have young players that are super, super talented because they don't always step into the leadership role right away. We saw that with Jeremiah Smith. We're seeing that with Julian last year. Like, he was one of the most talented players on our team, but was he a leader? Probably not, right? I mean, you lean on the older guys for that. This season, coming back as a sophomore, working with Arthur Smith, the most valuable thing this season is going to be in the Texas game when he's facing adversity, him being able to go to the sidelines to Arthur Smith and say, this is what I'm seeing. Which maybe last year, is he really verbalizing what he thinks we could improve upon or what plays might work, or was he letting Brian Hartline essentially take the reins? And last year, we didn't get a lot of pushback either. Like, everything was working the first 9 games of the season. So you don't really have to go through that process of, okay, my first read isn't there. Maybe we need to try this. And so that's what we'll see this season. And that's why this tougher schedule is going to have him so much better prepared for the playoff, because they're going to go through those trials and tribulations where he can come to the sideline and talk to Arthur Smith about what he's seeing.
He can make a really good point because, Reese, and we talked about this all the time last year during the season about the tempo they were playing with. How many times did we talk about short red zone?
Every week. They played 12 games in the regular season. We talked about it 13, 14 times.
It was all the time. You could tell there were things that didn't seem as easy as they should. But the idea was, well, yeah, you can get away with it. You're playing Illinois. And the reality is the schedule takes a massive leap up next year. And with that will become more opportunities. And the reality is, as we all know, you don't have to go 12-2. You're 12-0. You got to go 10-2. 10-2 gets you in. So I think last year maybe were a little too smart for themselves with the strategy. And I think this year, just let it fly.
I of course I'm always there. Like, you got Chris Henry Jr. and Jeremiah. Throw it. Someone's going to be down there.
Yeah.
Because but I don't necessarily know if it's the smartest thing to do a complete 180 to what they did last year offensively, because that might be a little too much to ask. But you do have Bo Jackson coming along. You'll have Isaiah West when he's healthy. I think that's the best 1-2 punch you've had since Quinshon and Travion, which is obviously saying something. I did want to do this real quick because we've got to get to Tim May. Nicole Sheeran of 10 TV had asked Julian Sayin about his facial hair yesterday.
Not sure if it's permanent. Probably not. I didn't shave for a few days, and then left tackle Austin, he said you should probably keep growing it, and Luke Montgomery agreed, and I said, all right, we'll keep growing it and see where we get. So we've been working it, but probably not permanent.
Dude, how much weight have you gained, by the way?
Gained about 5 or 10 pounds. Just trying to improve.
Do you feel totally different? I mean, a little bit different physically?
Yeah, definitely. Just bigger and stronger for sure.
It's an ultimate pro job out of Tim May to just get, because Nicole's was designated last question.
Sure.
Tim May hadn't asked a question. So damn it, Tim May's getting that question in because they were trying to wrap it up. Bang, here comes Tim May with 2.
Well, new SID. No Jerry. Maybe new SID doesn't understand.
He says Mike forgot about him.
Oh, baby. That's all right, Mike. Early days. And by the way, whether you give him permission or not, he's going to ask a question. That's a good job. That's a good job of you for getting that in. That's a good job out of Tim May, who will join us in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Spring is right around the corner, and we bet you're excited for warmer weather. But as the temperatures rise, make sure your energy bills don't. Keep those cooling costs low with Window Nation's high-quality, energy-efficient products. Simply request a consultation where their experts will visit your home, spot problem areas, and make recommendations. Your customized windows can be installed in a day. Once completed, your home will be shielded from outside hot air while you remain cool and comfortable inside throughout the spring and summer. With Window Nation, your house won't just look great, but you'll also have peace of mind. All of Window Nation's products are backed by a lifetime warranty. In fact, there's no better time to upgrade your home with Window Nation than right now. In March, the more you buy, the more savings you could enjoy, up to 50% off all window styles. And be sure to ask about Window Nation's generous financing options, including $0 down, 0% interest for 60 months, and payments as little as $199 a month. Visit windownation.com today to schedule your free consultation. Once again, that's windownation.com.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. We'll read your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where to send them. Hey, we're not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, 10:30 on a Friday. We head out on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Conversation with a good buddy, Tim May. The Tim May Show with Clay Hall on FanStream Sports and right here at the Fan. No Tim May, last question yesterday, huh?
Sometimes there are oversights. Who knows? I mean, people were doing a Tim May impression that is asking, instead of asking just one question, asking a couple. You know what I mean? So sometimes the medicine is bitter to swallow. Because the window is only open so wide. But, the window can always be a little bit wider if, in fact, you're willing to open it. So there you go. That's it in a nutshell.
Oh, my God. That was so great. You still got it in? You still got the question in?
Julian looks different. I mean, not just the facial hair, but I was good on Nicole for asking that because I was going to ask about that, too, because, I remember when Ryan Day in the preseason – he had let his facial hair grow out. I think it was his second year.
Yep.
And I went, man, are you going to keep that? And he goes, probably not. And he didn't that year, but he has ever since, right? So, and I remember when I decided to grow facial hair long ago, for cosmetic reasons. Just trying to cover up my ugliness. That's a major moment in a man's life. And this is what's cool, Bo, about covering college football, at least. It has been cool up till now is you see these guys come in as 18-year-olds and leave as 22, 21, and they change dramatically physically in all kinds of ways. That Julian's never going to be mistaken for Will Howard when it comes to answering questions. Matter of fact, it kind of reminds me of that lawyer sitting next to Wexner when he was getting grilled, in that deposition. He said he was more the Will Howard Wexner was, and if I had a client, I'd want him to be more Julian Sayin, just say very little, what little you have to say to satisfy the answer and move on, because that's pretty much what Julian does. But I really like the idea, as revealed yesterday, that and you could see it a little bit in practice, the way he's kind of running things, the little glimpses we got the first couple of days, that they're giving him more autonomy, is that the right word? I mean, to maybe fix things at the line of scrimmage, et cetera, and he's not being shy about kind of getting into guys' faces and saying, "Hey, I wanted you here instead of there." You know what I mean? On certain routes, because when you're throwing fastballs, the catcher's glove's got to be where you're throwing it, right? And so I'm impressed by several of the things I've seen from a progress standpoint from him, because like you and I talked about last year, man, this dude's a special dude. Yeah, you do want him to run more, but, boy, you don't want anything to take away from that right arm and his ability to throw accurate passes. I mean, pretty special.
I don't want him to run more. I just want him to run on 3rd and 7 if he's flush from the pocket. I want him to throw.
That's more.
That is more. You're right. But, like, one of the things that I know is going to annoy me is this notion that he's got to be some dual threat. Like, I don't want him to be a dual threat. That's nonsense. I don't need him to be that at all. He has a gift as an elite processor of what he sees, elite, and he's the most accurate quarterback I've ever seen here. So I don't want him to be something other than that.
Man, I feel like I'm in a Southern Baptist church right now. I'm back to my old days where I'm just back out there saying amen, man. I was telling Will Fantasis, he's from Wake Forest, the Demon Deacons. I said, I grew up with Demon Deacons in the Southern Baptist Church.
Yes, you did.
You know what I mean?
I
just
do.
Go to church on Sunday and everything's fixed. But no, yeah, you're exactly. That's where he would be most lethal, and that's kind of what Mendoza did last year. Yes. Really, more than anything else. Occasionally, quarterback draw. Well, quarterback draw is catching everybody unawares. The biggest play in offensive history for Indiana football was that quarterback draw they ran in for a touchdown. You not only gotta be able to see it and read it, but you got to be willing to go do it. And and you're going to take a hit. And I think you watch video. We talked about this last year. You watch video of Julian in high school, and he ran the ball a lot. I mean, in those kind of situations. And so he has the wherewithal, and he has the gumption to do it. But sometimes, man, when you got that right arm, you just feel like, man, one more second, that guy's going to break wide open, right?
Yeah, for sure. And so to me, I think he's actually being a little bit disrespected nationally. Like, I don't see him as like the number one returner. He's always like the fourth or fifth. I don't know where any of that comes from. I put almost nothing that happened in the two losses at the end of the season on him. I mean, you'd want to have a throwback here or there, but my God, it was his first year as a starter. I thought he was spectacular. Yeah. You alluded to something there though too that this is our first year of this, buddy. And I didn't know. I guess maybe it was naive. I didn't know if we'd ever see the day where there were 51 new faces at Ohio State, Tim.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think I said you weren't here last week, but I said you were out getting ready to go into Fog Allen. Boy, I was going to text you and ask you if you were having a good time because that had to be an experience. But
it was unbelievable.
But I digress. I'm sure it was cool. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was like you need name tags on the front and back of the players, And
right.
It was funny when Dave Holmes asked Ryan about that the other day. It's like Ryan says, I know all the players, but I don't necessarily know all their numbers,
Right.
Because everybody's changing numbers. The upperclassmen finally, like you heard Kenyatta Jackson say yesterday, he always wanted number 2, but then Caleb Downs came along. So, but yeah, dude, the new day has dawned at Ohio State. And here's the thing: they got away 2 years ago with the national championship team of, in essence, re-recruiting the guys who might have been leaving. And this is basic; everybody knows this. They end up with one of the more experienced teams in college football. And last year, it was sort of the opposite of that. Now this year, you got experience in a lot of places. Like Ryan said, one of the great things is bringing a third or fourth year player into a room that's loaded with first and second year players. He immediately gives you some type of veteran presence there, but he's still got to learn your system, the way, not just your offense and your defense, but the way things go at Ohio State. Kenyatta Jackson alluded to that yesterday, is that, it's almost like they got to learn the Ohio State way of doing things, the expectations when it comes to weight room and practice and everything, no slacking, et cetera. And really no one is shown any mercy when it comes to adherence, whether you're a returning veteran or a rookie or a freshman or a sophomore. So, this is going to be an interesting mix. But, man, just look out there and you see like a Legend Bay or the McEwen kid from UP San Antonio, or even Kyle Parker. I haven't seen Kyle Parker drop a pass yet. Now, maybe I missed one. But my point is they've got some new blood that can really help, man. The transfusion, whatever you want to call it. It's, new HGH or something they're pumping in there. It's going to be interesting to watch as it all develops.
It's early. They're not doing a whole lot. We haven't seen much. You mentioned Legend Bay. Chris Henry, obviously, I think people think he's going to have to contribute right away as well. What was kind of just your impressions of the way they went about their business?
Just how many reps they are getting. Like Ryan Day alluded to, you've got two not just former NFL guys, two former head coaches in the NFL running the two sides. Plus, Tim Walton was a coordinator in the National Football League. So you've got, some guys who know how to conduct a practice, get the most out of it they can, in the NFL. You cover the Browns. Things are limited. What you can do once the season starts and practice starts, with the CBA and everything. So they've got guys who understand the efficiency of practice. But when you can have, like when they line up with 4 or 5 quarterbacks abreast and they're all throwing to different guys, like somebody commented, man, it sure looks like I forgot who the player was. He was going to get a lot more touches. I think it was Brandon Ennis. Well, that's because each wide receiver had a different quarterback throwing it to him. So he was getting a pass every play. So just those little things, man, just really add up. The more, like, Julian Sayin can throw the ball to Cal Parker, the new guy in town, or Chris Henry, the new guy in town, the more the timing develops. I don't know, it just all pays dividends. Now, we're all, just like we were this time a year ago, we're all flush with excitement about what we're seeing, and then you guys were seeing, like, Sam Greer, oh, my gosh, does he look the part, man, at tackle? A huge guy. I was watching him just do calisthenics yesterday as they were warming up, or not stretching, and he's like lifting his legs up to touch him, with his hand like a rocket. Are you kidding me? This guy's a freak. Yeah. And Matt Wilhelm's kid out there, Mason Wilhelm, now he's considered a little bit of a project at guard, but he's talented. You can see it. And the big kid whose name is Perez, the kid they got from Glenville, the big, huge nose tackle, weighs 360. Now, he's a pup, but, man, he's a big pup. And you can see Larry Johnson already liked him of what he can bring. And like he said, man, they had this little drill where they were lifting these Belgian bags and slammed them into these little spring-loaded gizmos against the wall, to practice the get-off. And Larry Johnson was correcting him about his footwork, and he says, hey, use God's gift, which means you've got a hell of a center of gravity, kid. Don't be giving it away with a slanted foot, and it's cool, man, to watch. It's cool to watch this stuff develop.
It is. It's fun to watch what's next, and hopefully those guys stick around, and so we can see what the full development process looks like, because that's one of the things that we've been cheated of a little bit in college football here in recent years. Good stuff as always, buddy. We'll do it again soon.
Absolutely. See you, brother.
There he goes, the great Tim May of the Tim May Show with Clay Hall on FanStream Sports, and, of course, right here on The Fan. We get you 3 things on an abbreviated version of a Friday program. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
This is the Daily Show with Coach Jake Diebler, brought to you by Encova Insurance. 72-69. Ohio State defeats Iowa. Jake, congratulations on the victory here today. Let's begin by asking about how your frontline guys played today.
Man, just all-around great effort. I thought Amari and Tilly were really good defensively. I thought our guards played tremendous on both sides. We got off to a little bit of a slow start, but we showed the fight that we've been playing with on both sides. Just really proud of the way guys grinded out a victory.
Hey, Coach, just talk about the adjustments you made. Clearly, when you played Iowa the first time, they had their way at certain parts of the game, but how your team responded to all the coaching instructions and the game plan.
We got too spread out, in the game and defensively in the first game, and so we had to make that adjustment. We gave up too many points in the paint. I don't know what they ended up. It just says 20. We'll go back and see on some of those free throws if those counted in that, but I thought we did a better job protecting the paint and getting in the paint on the other side. So that's a really good team, guys. They're 2 really good teams, in my opinion, playing, and two really good teams that are going to be in the postseason moving forward.
All right, we'll have another comment in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the court. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. Basketball is full of challenging shots, and life can be too. With Encova, you don't have to do it alone. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
72-69. Ohio State defeats Iowa.
Because we've talked about this young man so much, but Bruce Thornton earned second team All Big Ten. In my case, should have been first team. But what a game did he play from on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I think what he does for us offensively and defensively is so important. We asked him to guard Sturtz almost the majority of the game, and he was up for the challenge. We got to get him some rest tonight. We got to get him an ice bath. We got to do everything we can to help him get ready. But, we had some guys step up in a big way and really excited about that.
It's the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota, like the best-selling Toyota Tacoma. Now through March 31st, get 4.99 APR financing on a new 26 Tacoma. Excludes TRD Pro and Trail Hunter. Or lease a well-equipped 26 Tacoma SR5 for $299 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 5.89%, APR 5.92% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Bishop & Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Find us on YouTube. Search WBNS Radio and you can see what Bo looks like. But only if you subscribe. This is Bishop & Friends.
Adam Jardy with this one. Give his brother Andy credit. I didn't put all of this together. He said we came 1 point away from getting Ohio State, Michigan, Duke, Carolina, and Akron, Kent State all on Friday the 13th. That's pretty good. And it was Carolina which lost. They don't have Caleb Wilson. They lost to Clemson yesterday. So that's the way that one shakes out. But that would have been fun. You guys believe in Friday the 13th?
No.
Me either.
I will today because I think it benefits the Buckeyes, but not typically.
I guess they could put on the Jason mask and take a stab at kicking Michigan out of the Big Ten tournament.
All right, what do you got on the poll today, Reese?
Daily Fan Poll sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub. What's your confidence level in the Buckeyes today going up against Michigan? Your four options: Michigan wins easily, OSUM wins, but it's close, OSU pulls off the upset, or Buckeyes by 100. 40% say Michigan's going to win this game easily. 32% say Michigan's going to win, but it'll be close. 22% say Ohio State's going to pull off the upset, and then 7% say Buckeyes by 100.
The third option with the 22, I think they could do it. I think that this is going to be a really fun, competitive game, and I think that they will. I think the start's going to be key. you can't chase this Michigan team. They're too big. They're too disciplined, so you can't chase it. You're going to have to impose your will on them a little bit. And if they do so, I think you're in for a fun one this afternoon. And it starts here in about an hour and 10 minutes. Time now for 3 Things on a Friday.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
And that dovetails into number 1 for me, which is the realization that conference basketball tournaments rule. They're awesome. They're awesome in the mid-majors where they're playing for their lives and a bid in the NCAA tournament. But the common theme would be that, well, what does it really matter if you win one of these games? Like, for example, if you're Duke last night, not much. They're going to be a number 1 overall seed no matter what. But when it came down to go win that game against Florida State, they did. Now, FSU got a shot at the buzzer that rimmed out and would have kept their dreams of finding a way to dancing alive, and it didn't happen. But the one thing that is absolute that I can tell, and you can tell, you watch any of this stuff, is these players and these coaches, I don't care if you're the 1 seed in your tournament or the 8 seed, the give a damn is there. They are playing hard. They are playing to win. They're playing for conference tournament championships. It still resonates. And it's something that all you have to do is just turn on your television. You'll see it. It's apparent.
Yeah, Buckeyes by 100 today. First thing, Over the Cap is projecting, actually, this is from the corrections department. So the Bengals are going to get a 7th round compensatory pick, but that's because Cordell Volson signed with the Tennessee Titans. For the Trey Hendrickson signing with the Ravens, the Bengals will, according to Over the Cap, get a 3rd. So that's not nothing.
That explains it. So that explains why they didn't deal him at the deadline, because they probably weren't going to do better than a 3rd then.
Yeah.
So they were getting that anyway. So that's where that goes. So there's the net positive there.
First thing
by the way, real quick, him and the Ravens.
Hate it.
That is the Ravens are a dirty bunch of dogs, man, for doing that. That is a bad form, man. I hope nobody trades with them ever again.
It shows how desperate they are with Lamar. Right now, they've only got a couple more years left where he's going to be running around like a crazy man. They got to take advantage of it. I get it.
It was a smart thing for them.
Yep.
I mean, they're getting 85% of the player, and they get to keep their picks. So it's a smart thing for them, but it's really bad for them.
First thing for me, keeping it in the AFC North, I've been pretty standing on my ground about what the Browns should do with their first-round picks. I've been leaning on O-line, wide receiver heavy. Really liking Carnell Tate there, as most Buckeye fans are. But as of late, with some of these O-line moves they've been making, I've been pretty happy with that. I'm starting to glean a little bit more about best player available. It works when you do it, and the Browns are putting themselves in a place where they might be able to do it at 6. Yet again, I'm still on the Carnell Tate train. Would love to get a weapon, but BPA, you could convince me of Caleb Downs. I wouldn't be opposed to that. If he's there, that'd be great.
He's the one that I think they give real consideration to, because they could play him with Grant Delpit together, and then Ronnie Hickman as well. Because they'll be in a lot of 3 safety looks. So I think that would be something that's very much in play. If they can make a move for a receiver in the next couple of weeks via trade, if somebody becomes available, then I think you could see that certainly happen. I just think you need weapons. I mean, they had the best offensive line in football for the better part of a decade. They didn't win anything. So you need weapons. You need to be able to score the football, which leads, speaking of football, leads into my number 2. So the Tennessee Titans basically picked uniforms that look like Ole Miss. For all of this time, they had this identity, the thumbtack tee, and they had the fire and behind the logo, and they had navy blue in it. And now they punted on all of it. It's like a classic overreaction. Everybody loved when they wore the Oilers throwbacks because why? Because they are a window back into the past. There's nostalgia to them. It's the most powerful thing. So then they did like a modern version of it. And yes, baby blue's a cheat code, but these suckers are pretty generic, boys. They are very generic. They look like a creative team on Madden is what they looked like to me. And to totally just get rid of the navy blue and all their other logos, it feels like they didn't accomplish anything with these other than the fact that baby blue's now in the catalog.
It's another thing to sell, was kind of how I read yesterday's.
Yeah.
What is old is new again. Example 36. This from Deadline. Fox is loading up its Baywatch reboot with social media stars. The latest is former competitive gymnast and model Livy Dunn, who has landed the recurring role of Grace, a highly enthusiastic junior lifeguard.
Perfect. You mean that's how they got Pamela Anderson? She was on a Molson ad. That's fine.
Yeah.
She'll figure it out.
Doing Baywatch again.
Yeah. Run it back.
Second thing for me, another thing piling on this weekend, other than just the basketball that's going crazy, how about St. Paddy's Day weekend? I love some St. Patrick's Day. Tomorrow, probably going to head out somewhere with my friends and watch the games. Maybe have an Irish car bomb or two.
Be careful with those. Be very, very careful with those. So this is the weekend they're doing it? We're not doing it?
Yep.
It's because it's what, Tuesday?
Yes.
That's tough. That's a tough one. Number 3 for me, finally. I have signed up. Well, I guess I have. I have signed up for the most ridiculous weekend of all time where I'm just chasing AAU and lacrosse starting at 8 a.m. Saturday morning and not ending. Bootsy's lacrosse practice ends at 5:30 Sunday. All 3 boys have AAU and lacrosse all weekend long. I won't like my sister-in-law has a baby shower that apparently I'm supposed to go to. I can't wait till Monday at 9 a.m. Trust me.
It's going to be a pretty incredible weekend. I also saw that Colin Morikawa withdrew after 1 hole yesterday at TPC Sawgrass due to a back injury.
I saw that.
And I keep forgetting that TPC Sawgrass is going on this weekend because there's just too much to do.
It's too much to do.
Stop trying to compete with March Madness, guys.
Third thing for me, CBJ, third hardest schedule the rest of the way. They've got a tough road ahead, but if they make the playoffs, they're going to earn it.
When?
64% chance. That music means that we got Buckeye basketball and Mr. Beam to get you set next. Have a great weekend. We're back Monday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeye.